the floor is yours. Explain us a little bit how the tool that has been discussed before, the iNaturalist tool, is also helping us in ALPTREES in order to get better information in and digest it, so to say.
Hello, good afternoon. Can you hear me and see my slides?
All perfect.
Okay, super. Let me introduce a little bit to citizen science activities we are doing and plan for ALPTREES project. IIASA team is leading this activity, but of course it's not possible without all partners involved, and also we expect lots of contribution for different organization and from people to contribute to these activities. A couple of more words about my home institution, same like Florian Kraxner. It's International Institute for Applied System Analysis, which situated in suburb of Vienna in Luxembourg. We have quite long experience with crowdsourcing back to 12 years ago when we started with GeoWiki application and use mobile phone, serious games, desktop application to collect different georeference information, both from citizen scientists and also from experts in different fields around the globe. Collect this information and then produce maps, global or regional. We have maps like, for example, forest cover, forest masks, forest management intensity, abundant agricultural land, field size of agricultural field, recognition of different crops and so on. And all this information collected later used for our modeling activities. IIASA is known as a modeling cluster where we have a number of biophysical models, forestry, agricultural, disturbances, all linked to economics and then to energy, population, and other stuff. Mostly used for consulting policymakers. Coming back to our ALPTREES project and citizen science activity, what we was thinking about when plan for this project. We are going to address public via such an activity because information about non-native tree species need to be shared. People should be better aware about advantages and also risks associated with non-native trees, and together elaborate our thoughts and then come out with a certain policy. Crowdsourcing campaign should not to substitute existing traditional source of information like National Forest Inventory or tree cadastre, but rather complement this information. And we are going to focus to urban space where the most non-native tree species are located, and also at the peri-urban interface where non-native tree species might escape from the cities or actively planted. This activity only started. It's a little bit delay with this our project because of COVID situation. So there are a lot of opportunities to participate in our campaign this spring and over summer. That's why you can learn what we are planning to do and then participate actively. For our project, we selected a naturalist application. There are some advantages of this app. One of them is to be a part of a larger initiative. Currently, a naturalist has 3.5 million registered users globally. Lots of information collected already. This is outdoor activities. We all need a little bit more moving and more incentives to go outside and move and do something useful, not only for us, but maybe good for nature and for society. It's quite flexible, can be adopted for certain project, in our case, ALPTREES project. And also results can be downloaded and free to use. There are no limitation of users' information. We also, with our activities, we not just make it for Alps or for our particular projects, but also contribute to other ongoing activities globally, or even for future ideas which can be built on this initiative. Including biodiversity, nature conservation, and sustainable use of forests. Here is some information how to participate. Basically, we have to download a naturalist application for smartphones, and then make a photo. Photo can be made within the application, or you can select already existing photo in your photo archive and upload this. As you see, the most important, we need to have a recognizable photo, some parts of the trees like fruits, flowers, leaves, crown shape, something distinguishable. It's also record location where it was made, photo, and time. This is important for phenology and for other stuff. After that, the photo will be uploaded to iNaturalist database. It can be delayed, for example, when you are back from forest at home at the Wi-Fi zone, you can upload all your collection later. And after that, you upload it, you can give a name to this tree species with the help of a community. Application itself will advise you what this tree you make a photo can be. There are several advices, and if you are not sure, you can leave it as it is, and then community will come and help you to identify. Much more information available at the web portal. We make a ALPTREES project within iNaturalist. It's quite easy. You need just define area of your interest, in this case Alps and surrounding area, and also define a list of species you are after. As you see, by now it's collected almost 20,000 observations already recorded. The more dense color on the map, the more observations made in this area. green color, it's about 43% of observation got a research grade, means trees are observed in the nature, most probably naturally regenerated, and this identification tree species confirmed at least by two different participants. So it's quite a robust estimation of trees, non-native trees in nature. Gray color, it's a casual observation. In most cases, this is trees in urban area or planted trees, and some portion in yellow, which need ID, means it's not identification not confirmed yet by community. Most probably it's a recently made observation and need to be sorted out, will be sorted out later. Here is a link to our ALPTREES project at inaturalist platform. Here it's how it looks like. You can see that we already have observation for 311 non-native tree species, or more than 6,000 active users in this area who contributed already with non-native trees observation. There is a leaderboard, like you can see that the most species non-native in this region is black locust, Robinia pseudoacacia. The second is a tree of heaven, or as we learned this morning, very dangerous species, maybe tree of devil even. User with a nick Mercator contributed with 440 observation on non-native tree species. Jim Clark recognized 79 different species, and so on. You can see all this leaderboard, which is quite motivating for contributors. There are a lot of filters you can apply and play with. For example, here I selected only Robinia pseudoacacia, where it was recorded in our region. You can select different species as well. Also, you are not limited to your project area. You can zoom out and see where Robinia also available at the global scale. You can look at the phenology of the species. You can read some additional materials in Wikipedia and other. iNaturalist is providing links to this material. You can see how it's connected to EUCN red list or European checklist, and so on. So quite a bit of information learning. You can also zoom into a certain region and see what is going on in your surroundings, like here around Maribor, one of our project partners. You can see some activities, quite densely served some area, but other area is quite empty. So looking at this figure, you can see, okay, maybe I should go to this and that area and check if I can find something over there or not. At the right side, it's surroundings of Vienna. It's more equally distributed, probably more contributors here, but not that active like around Maribor. You can always click any point and see what the tree species observed, like in this particular case, Japanese cherry. And then, of course, you can click Japanese cherry and learn more about the species, where it comes from, and what the biology of the species, and so on. You can also filter out individual activities and share with your friends where you travel and collect information. Here I put, of course, myself to show which places over the world I visited and made some photo contributed to this iNaturalist activities. Or here around Vienna, when I go for a walk with my dog and also collect something useful information. What can we do now when not all trees on the trees? Still, we can do quite a bit. We can learn more about non-native tree species, looking at the iNaturalist or sources provided by our project, ALPTREES, and other sources of information. You can look, as I explain, at the surroundings of your area and see which trees are common in your area, what is distinguishable features of this species, and also to see the gaps in the observation, where to go and what to check. You can also revise your mobile photo archive for trees and upload them to the iNaturalist, and some tree species are quite recognizable even now in winter time. If you look at the corns or fruits, or at the evergreen species like honey locust, for example, and some others, they already can be recognized and uploaded. What targeted group we are thinking of? We have a project partners the discussion and think who we could involve and which task we can give to the citizen scientist. Our target group could be students and teachers of biology. An interesting exercise for pupil and forestry students. We can hopefully engage some municipalities and public companies who are managing green areas in municipalities. Also, there is an idea maybe involve tourist companies who could give such a task to tourists, additional incentives to go to a certain place and do something useful, and of course general public. Task can be different, just if you go anyway somewhere for hiking or go for a walk with your dog, you can make a photo of trees. You don't need to be exactly sure if it's native or non-native. You can make a photo of any trees or any other live species and upload this, and if it's native or non-native will be sorted out later. Also, could be a task or systematic survey of certain streets or blocks or parks. These tasks can be given to students or pupil, for example, just go and surf a certain street and so on. Also quite useful, a look at your backyard or at the private areas, because in many cities nowadays we have a tree cadastre for public area, which provide quite good information on what tree species planted, what the health status, sometimes age, and so on. but what is going in the private area, we actually don't know much. And also to check photo archive, you can go back and look where you spent your holidays last year or a year ago, and upload some of this information again. And how we are going to use this information, this is just a rough example. We did this experiment a couple of days ago to see if we can use this information. So we look at the occurrence of different species. In this case, Norway spruce. We can see that it's not only in Alpine region, it's across all Europe and also in US. We overlay this information with the climate, current climate, and make some climate ordination. How Norway spruce prefer which temperature range, which precipitation range. Also look at the soil features it likes, or more likes, less likes, and we have such kind of information. And then overlay with climate records in Alpine region, we can see, there are areas where very good, suitable for Norway spruce, and there are some areas less suitable. And also, if you look at different tree species at the current climate, and this top line, current climate, Norway spruce, Douglas fir, black locust, and also the bottom line, this is a climate by the end of the century as the most severe climate projection. We can see that probably the current climate, Douglas fir is most suitable for many places at the Alps, and by the end of the century, probably black locust would be most beneficial from climate change. But please don't use this as a real projection. We just make a small experiment how we can use this information at what would be the data flow from traditional sources of information like National Forest Inventory, Tree Cadastre, and crowdsourced information to modeling. Thank you for your attention. You can learn more about our project, ALPTREES, inaturalist, or about our program at IIASA. Thank you.
Great, excellent. Thank you very much, Dmitry. This was very informative, and I understand that this inaturalist is really a great tool for bringing science forward, for getting better insight into things that we cannot easily get access to, like data and the spread of non-native tree species in our environment. But this is also a perfect teaching tool or even learning tool for classroom and outside. So therefore, we probably also had Margaret Carter immediately reacting here. If there is also space for month and season identification here. So I'm not so sure if you mean for when you can do that, or when you identify the different species. Maybe since this is the only question, Margaret, do you want to specify here what your question is?
It is when you identify the tree, because deciduous trees are going to change throughout the year. And so if you have a number of trees, it would be helpful, or a number of photos of the same type of trees, it would be helpful to see that these trees are, this is what it looks like in the summertime, this is what it looks like in the fall, this is what it looks like in the wintertime. Maybe some trees have a longer lifespan in terms of the they would age differently in terms like they would produce a lot of cones when they are in distress and you haven't seen that before, or this is something that happens every year, or, you know.
Got it. All right, let's ask Dmitry. So I think there are several pictures and photos of all times and seasons and blooming season of these species in iNaturalist.
Yeah, it's a very interesting task. Maybe that's what we could ask also our contributors to observe maybe same location, different season. But already now, kind of randomly, this information collecting, you see this plant phenology for different tree species, when it's flowering, when it's fruiting. So it's kind of collecting this information, but would be interesting to have a more systematic observations, right?
So I think important is also that we are going to launch especially these activities through the help of schools, etc. And interested schools will of course receive also an information package on how to best use it and how to best contribute.